Bada bing. Oh, it's working. Huh. Full surprises because I'm having a blasé week here and didn't expect this to be working. But hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Dylan Knows. This is episode 626, Tired Eyes. Yeah, there's something wrong with me. I don't know. My eyes have just been really not feeling good today. I guess a lot of it was, I woke up, I got my glasses right on, started looking at my phone and stuff like that, and they started to burn a little bit. And then I took them off, and then I played some Fortnite. It was still kind of blurry and hurting a little bit. Been doing my social media has been hurting a little bit and making things blurry. So I took my eyes off, my glasses off. It's still blurry around here. So that's just great. My back has been annoying this week. My butt, to all intents and purposes, has not been feeling great when I've gone to the bathroom, and I've been just feeling just awful, which is weird because Friday I was feeling pretty decent because I went to pick up my daughter from school and bring her home for the weekend, and then it was beautiful sunset. It was homecoming football game for the Franklin High School, and then the homecoming dance was tonight, and the parade was earlier today, and it was, my son was camping, doing a camp trip he actually was enjoying doing. I thought it was going to be a lot of fun. And then I woke up this morning. It's just been kind of a blah, boring, just not feeling good day and not feeling good so far. I don't know what it is. I'm just down depressed. I could be depressed due to what's going on in the world because that never is going to get better, it seems like. That it's the first week of fall, and it absolutely has not felt like fall at all, has not had any bearing on fall whatsoever. It's been hot and humid, not hot like summer hot, but it's been humid and disgusting and not cool and refreshing, and it's been humid. It hasn't been dry, hasn't been refreshing, hasn't been cool. We've had a little bit of rain, but they keep saying it's going to have a ton of rain from now to like next Thursday, and we've gotten like absolutely nothing today. A little storm here and there, which is good for my son in camping, but still, when they keep pushing it. Now they changed it all. They said we were going to be like raining all week. There's like no rain in the forecast now. So who fucking knows? Yeah, this is what's great. Yeah, it's going to be 80 degrees tomorrow. Fuck that shit. 78 degrees on Monday. Fuck that shit. 74 on Tuesday. Okay, it's a little bit better. 70 on Wednesday, 53-degree low. That's good. 65 on Thursday. Yes, thank you. 48 degrees as a low. Thank you. Friday, 66 and 47. We're getting into October then. 71 and 49 on Saturday. 72 and 55 on Sunday with some rain. And 74. So it's going back up again, which sucks. Yeah, it just. The average temperature is supposed to be 73 degrees, not fucking 74, not 75, not 80, not 78, 73. So it's a bunch of bullshit. And the rain, has been nothing but to our south. There were two hurricanes that were kind of circling themselves, and people were thinking of freaking out they're going to combine and make one big giant storm. But it's not going to happen now. One of them is stalling, and then eventually we'll hit the southern coast, and that's going to be about it. The other one, which is a huge one, is going to miss us completely and go out to sea, and they're going to miss each other. So a lot of how you do about that. So just very, very blah, and I don't feel good. My wife has been feeling kind of ill. I've been feeling kind of ill. Had a sore throat on Thursday, or on Friday, and then I've been kind of sniffling, and now these eyes that are they just hurt right now, and it's hard to read. So just gotta bear with me here. I always have trouble reading and stuff like that. And it just came up, it's fucking humid. No fucking kidding. I got my fucking air on. It shouldn't be on. It should be windows open, nice cool air coming in. So it's fucking September 27th, man. Jesus. So just not doing very good here. Dual hurricanes, I already talked about that. Yeah, and then also the interstellar object that's going to be passing by Mars this week, which could be interesting to see. They're going to try to photograph it too. It looks like everybody has just been upping the ante now, saying that it actually is an alien spacecraft and is set to hit our orbit in November. So we'll see how that all works out. The Rapture didn't come like everyone was expecting this week on the 23rd. So yeah, that's no big surprise either. So they just had to find something else. And then the guy who said the Rapture was going to come says, "Oh yeah, I was looking at the wrong calendar. Now it's going to be October or something." So what the fuck? I don't care. I really, honestly, at this point, I just given up. I was going to try to do a show today for my list show, but I'm going to do that tomorrow. Ravens don't play till 4:25 p.m. against the Chiefs. The Ravens had a shitty game on Monday night against the Detroit Lions. I mean, 30-30 we lost, but our defense gave up 244 yards rushing, which has never happened before in a long time. Our offense looked stagnant in the second half of the game, and our offensive line couldn't stop cold. So just a lot. And then the Orioles finished up their home series with a win on Sunday, and then played two away series, I guess. Or finish it, I'm sorry, earlier this week, like not on a Wednesday, I guess. Excuse me. And then their final series against the Yankees. Let's see. Yeah, they lost today 6-1. And tomorrow is the last game of Major League Baseball. So the Orioles sucking also. It's it started off good because it's great to see my daughter and all that stuff, but it's just been a fucking shitty weekend so far, and it's going to be over and done with soon. Next week, Monday, is the 25th anniversary of my wife and I's first date, which is really nice. Then we get into October finally on Wednesday. Our anniversary is on next Saturday, October 4th. Nothing major planned for that. When we go out to dinner, I think that's about it. My son's going to be camping again, and my daughter is bleeding. Where am I bleeding from? Okay. Where am I bleeding from? I don't know, man. See, that's stuff like that. I'm bleeding now. I can't tell where it came from. I mean, there's a lot of blood on there, so. I don't feel any blood there. I don't feel any blood there. I don't feel any blood here. Don't feel any blood here. Oh, there it is. Whatever. I guess I scratched myself too hard. See? Which is fucking bullshit. All right. Yeah, this is just great what you want to hear, right? Yeah, so please forgive me for not being as crazy excited about a lot of stuff. But there's some really good, interesting stuff coming up. Some good soda things coming up. Toaster strudel stuff. Some trailers. Some world record stuff, a lot of new production stuff, and some interesting stuff rolling through here. So just bear with me here. Sorry, it's just been a weird week, and hopefully with the weather changing up and things are getting a little bit better. It's just getting tired of a lot of shit. All right. Enough of that. I thought they released this like last week, but then they released it this week. So I guess not that it really matters. Trailer for the Hand That Rocks the Cradle remake. A new one came out. I thought one just came out, but there was a new one just came out this week. Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco are married. They got married today. Congratulations to the happy couple. Io Edebini and Will Sharp are set to star in Apple TV Plus's rom-com series Prodigies. Again, they just announced it, so I don't know much about it. A 50-year-old Brazilian skateboarder named Sandro Dias flew down a ramp from 22 stories up on a skyscraper in Porto Alegre. It's a world record for tallest drop-off, and at one point he had hit 64 miles per hour. You should see the pictures. 22 stories. 22 stories. We're talking about a building, a building 22 stories high. There was a ramp built at the 22nd story, and it goes like that. 22 fucking stories. He had to be harnessed in and flown up to the top, but had no harness, and he just dropped. It's unbelievable. You have to watch the video for this. It is absolutely freaking unbelievable. And he was 50 years old, which is insane also. Even Tony Hawk was impressed by it. So that's insane. Speaking of that, a skier makes the history books by skiing down Mount Everest without an oxygen tank, which is crazy. I didn't even know you could even ski down Mount Everest, but I guess you can. But here we are. So a couple of interesting things going on there. Yeah, there's the blood right there. Here, these are sounds. So here's some good look. I think we talked about the Airhead sodas are supposed to be out either now or soon. I haven't seen them yet, but I'd like to try them. So I need to try to see if I can find them and see if I can try them for the show. 7-Up Shirley Temple, which was fantastic. I tried it last year at this time. My kids loved it. And then it went away after the holidays. And it was horrible because my kids absolutely loved it. And it's actually a really good soda. And I remember I could only get it at the Giant. My wife didn't have it, which is right up the street here. I had to go to the Giant to get it. And they had a display for it, like right near the end of when it was starting to go away. And they were all the no sugar variations except for one, which was buried at the bottom. So I had to rearrange some stuff to actually pull that out and got it. So that was crazy. So hopefully they say that that's supposed to be out to October 6th. But people have been saying that they've been spotting it around early. So we'll see if that actually does happen. Now, we knew about one of these, but then a new one was announced next to it. So we knew about the Dirty Mountain Dew. That was a rumored cream soda flavored Mountain Dew coming in 2026. It has been officially announced. It'll be out in early 2026, and it is the first ever cream soda flavored Mountain Dew, which is crazy. It sounds so good, though. So looking forward to that, actually. And then Mug Root Beer is doing something called Mug Floats, which is a new series of drinks, and they call this one the Vanilla Howler, which they say tastes like a root beer float in a can. So you don't have to make it; it tastes like it. So that's also coming around at the same time as the Dirty Mountain Dew. So those two could be very, very good, very, very soon. So we'll have to wait till early 2026, but definitely we'll be doing taste for both of those. Now I didn't get a chance to get the ice cream sundae A&W because I wasn't sure I was going to like it, and the only place I saw was that Food Line, and they had like a 12-pack, and that was it. And I haven't seen it since. I don't know what's going on with that. So, oh well. I talked about last week, but it is now official. Fat Bear Week has officially been going on this week. The first week is over and done with. The first batch of finalists have rolled out, and the ones that didn't make the cut have been cut to go about and building up their coffers for the winter. So now we have the next week is, I guess, the semifinals, and then we get to the finals, and then it's over. So keep an eye on Fat Bear Week. Now, what's really cool about that is Theodore Roosevelt National Park, which I guess is somewhere out in the Midwest somewhere, or out in the Southwest. They saw that this Fat Bear Week being, loved and enjoyed by everybody. And it's an Alaskan national park that's doing this. So Theodore Roosevelt National Park, which is Southwestern, I believe, said, "Hey, congratulations to all the finalists for Fat Bear Week. But while we don't have that, but we have Fat Gopher Week, or not guinea pig, Fat Prairie Dog Week." It's not really fat. It's not a week. It's just, here's some pictures of our fat prairie dogs, and they had a bunch of them put together. So it was kind of neat to see a fat prairie dog sort of event for Theodore Roosevelt National Park, which is kind of cool. Christmas is coming, no matter how much you don't want to think it is, but it is. And Advent is one of those. Advent calendars are one of those things that have come out there soon. This one I did not write in here, but I just thought of it. I think Costco is doing a full size, like a human size Advent calendar, which when you open it is actually going to be a bag of the chocolate balls that have like liquid in it, Lindor stuff. So, but it's actually a full bag of Lindor for every day. So it's 25 full bags of Lindor truffles, chocolate, whatever, during Advent. So that's the wall-sized, human-sized one. They're doing a Bigfoot Advent calendar, also someone else's, not Costco, where each day you get a Bigfoot figurine. So that's kind of cool. So Bigfoot, bruh. So Nobody Wants This second season trailer debuted this week. The Mandalorian and Grogu trailer also debuted this week. It looks really, really good. Looks like it's not missing a beat. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Comes out next May. Vietnam vet collapses after being told that his Rolex is worth $700,000 at an antique roadshow. Haunted Hotel renewed for a second season. The Beekeeper, Jason Statham's big hit action film, has started its sequel. The Beekeeper 2 has started production this week. Star Wars Visions Season 3 trailer. That's due out October 29th. For those who don't know, Star Wars Visions is anime directors. They do short films based on Star Wars stuff, but in their anime style. And it's very successful. They're on the third season. So obviously it's pretty cool. That's good. The first Himalayan Palace's cat sighting was on a trail cam that was 14,000 feet up. So it's good to see that they are alive and kicking. Scientists discover a new hybrid bird between the blue jay and green jay. Didn't know there was a green jay, but apparently there is. A serial killer was identified as the perpetrator in the deaths of 4 girls at a yogurt shop in 1991. It was one of the worst true crime, unsolved crimes. 4 young women between the ages of, I think, 18 and 13 were murdered, one of whom was also sexually assaulted. They were shot in the head and then set on fire. And they had other suspects, and they had them go to court, but the DNA and all that stuff proved that they didn't do it, and they had alibis. So it was an unsolved mystery from 1991 when somebody discovered when a certain serial killer passed away or whatever, they found a gun in his possession that had a bullet round that was similar to the one that was in the yogurt shop. And then they did the DNA test against the serial killer, discovered it was a perfect match. So the serial killer, who has passed away since then, did kill these 4 young women. And at least the families now have some closure when it comes to that. It doesn't bring their daughters back, but they do have closure when it comes to stuff like that. In Your Dreams trailer, it's like that's a Netflix cartoon thing. I didn't see it. They just announced that it was new, out and about, and I didn't check the. If you don't like embed it, I don't tend to usually go into the story to read it or to check it out. So, but check it out for yourself. It's an interesting animated idea. I think it's coming out in December. I might check it out when it comes out on Netflix. See, right now my eye is watering right now. It hurts. So Millie Bobby Brown is got a lot of stuff going on. We got this one, and then you have another story coming up later on in the show. But Millie Bobby Brown and Gabriel LaBelle are set to star in a new Netflix rom-com that has started filming called Just Picture It. And the premise behind it is 2 college kids, their phones glitch, and they discover that they have a pathway to the future, and they see pictures of the 2 of them married with children, but they're not together in this beginning timeline. So I don't know what they're going to do and how it's going to work out, but that's what the premise is for that. All right, death. Sarah Jean Moore, who tried to assassinate Gerald Ford, died at the age of 95 this week. Ray Lane, a Detroit sportscaster, passed away this week as well. Asada Shakir, an activist and Tupac's godmother, passed away this week as well. Lieutenant Colonel George Hardy was the last surviving member of the Tuskegee Airmen. He passed away at the age of 100 today. Anniversaries: Empire Records hit 30 years ago this week, and Rush with Chris Hemsworth debuted 12 years ago this week. I think it was Ron Howard directed that also. It's a race car thing. I intimated this last week, but it has been officially announced and shown. Spaceballs 2 has started filming, has started production, and they've already started kicking off the parody of Star Wars. Think back to when The Force Awakens came out, and when it was first announced, and that J.J. Abrams was directing it, and that Luke, Leia, and Han were all coming back, and blah, blah, blah. But no one at the time knew what the story was going to be about. So right when they started the filming of it, Lucasfilms released a black and white picture of the table read. And you had a picture of all the actors. So you saw, Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher and John Boyega and all the other actors who were in the movie, all sitting in different areas, and had the R2-D2 in the background. And they were just sitting around chit-chatting doing the table read. So Spaceballs 2 announced they were in production by releasing their own black and white table read done in a similar fashion to The Force Awakens. And when you break down the picture, one of the chairs has a pizza on it for Pizza the Hut, which is outstanding. Mel Brooks was on the camera. He was on the computer, the video call. And then they released a picture of him getting into his yogurt costume. So he will be officially a part of it. George Weiner, who is also part of the original cast, has also come back to his role as Colonel Sanders. And there was someone else. Where is it? There's somebody else that got cast also. When I come across it. But yeah, there was somebody. Oh yeah, there it is. Anthony Kerrigan has also joined the cast of Spaceballs 2 along with George Weiner, which is great. But it's so cool though that you see the picture and you see Bill Pullman and you see Rick Moranis and you see Daphne Zuniga and you see Lewis Pullman and you see John Candy's son and you see George Weiner and you see Mel Brooks on the computer and you see all the other cast members who are and Josh Gad as well and stuff like that. It was shot and it was exactly the same as the table read black and white picture for Force Awakens. So they're already starting up parodying stuff, and I'm here for that. Nicholas Hoult, who played Lex Luthor and Superman, made a surprise cameo appearance in the brand new episode of Peacemaker Season 2, playing, of course, Lex Luthor to continue connecting the show with the movie and showing that James Gunn's not messing around. Netflix is trying to do a game show based on Monopoly, and 3 production companies are vying to be the producer of it. So they're still in talks right now, but they just announced that that's what's going on right now. We got our first trailer for Nothing Is Lost, which is a documentary about Stiller and Mara, Jerry Stiller and his wife Ann Mara, who were the parents of Ben Stiller, and apparently Ben Stiller has a sister. Didn't know that. The two of them made a documentary with Ben directing it about their parents and their comedy routine and what caused some, troubles in their marriages. They stayed together for their whole life. They never separated. They never divorced. And we see lots of archival footage and stuff like that, and lots of live interviews with Ben and his sister talking about their memories too. It's a really interesting trailer, and unfortunately it's on Apple Plus TV, so I will not be able to see it since I don't have Apple Plus TV, but it's set to debut on Apple Plus TV October 24th. Now, they also don't really like to release their movies out on Blu-ray. They want people to come to Apple Plus TV to watch it and pay for it instead of having it have anyone watch it, because why should we release this to everybody when you just come to us and watch it on our channel? But it's definitely interesting, and there you go. The sequel to The Social Network, written and directed by Aaron Sorkin, is now being called The Social Reckoning, set to debut October 9th, 2026. Said to star Jeremy Strong, Alan White, Mikey Madsen, and Bill Burr. We'll see how that works out. It's probably going to take a look at, the Social Network was the first, the setup for Facebook, and this one is going to be how it's fucked up everything. Danny Elfman, one of my favorite score artists and former pop star, has joined the production crew for the animated franchise 100 Acre Woods, Winnie and Friends. So he'll probably be doing music and songs, and maybe the what do you call it, the opening theme for it, stuff like that. So he's involved with it. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die is a new film starring Sam Rockwell, who is a hugely underrated actor, where he plays someone who claims to be from the future. Directed by Gore Verbinski, who did the Pirates of the Caribbean, the first set of Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Is set to debut on January 30th, 2026. That's actually coming sooner than a lot of these movies are. So we'll have more about that once we get into 2026. Netflix has ordered Pagans, a supernatural series from creator Joshua Zootmuir. So that's interesting. It's going to be a supernatural show people are excited about. The WWE's Scottish wrestler Drew McIntyre has been cast as Henry Cavill's brother in the Scottish set Highlander. So that's interesting. Again, I've always said that wrestlers make really good actors. Look at John Cena, The Rock, maybe not Hulk Hogan and their ilk, but at least the more recent wrestlers, because it is acting. I hate to tell you, people who believe that wrestling is real, it's not. It's all performance art, and that is why most wrestlers make decent actors, and John Cena's good up there, and when The Rock is getting some buzz on his boxing film, and he's doing a little bit more drama stuff, so we'll see how that all works out. So it'd be interesting to see, this guy, he is Scottish, so, and he looks like Henry Cavill, so you've got a nice, actual Scottish actor who will be in this movie, so that'd be good. Netflix is just going absolutely nuts now. They have just announced that Major League Baseball announced this week that Netflix has got the rights to air the Yankees-Giants season opener, Major League Baseball season opener next year. Also, they are going to be showing the Home Run Derby during the All-Star game, and also any other special games that might pop up, like the Field of Dreams game and other stuff as well. Netflix is probably going to be there to air that. So they're really getting involved with that stuff as well. So that's pretty good. I got a trailer for a movie that I didn't know was coming out this year, and I don't know if I talked about it in my fall preview because no one really talking about it, but it's a movie called The Astronaut. It stars Kate Mara, Lawrence Fishburne, Gabriel Luna, and Ivana Milicevic. Set debut October 17th. The first trailer for it came out. It's your typical sort of return from space horror film where it's starting to create its own little genre. There's a couple of those movies where, people were up in space and something happens to them in space and they return differently, either possessed or something is controlling them or whatever. So it's a, there was The Astronaut's Wife, and there was it Life, and there was a few other ones as well that have been out where, they were astronauts who went to space. Something happened. They came back and they were different. This trailer looks similar to that. Kate Mara crash lands in the water. Her face mask hasn't broken. She's got like a blue blood sort of thing on her, and she wakes up, and NASA moves her to a really gorgeous mansion. Her and her family, it's a gorgeous mansion in the middle of nowhere for her to recover. But then she starts hearing and seeing things, and things just go crazy from there. So decent looking kind of sci-fi horror film. Charlotte's Web is one of my absolute favorite children's stories. I got an A+ on a paper I wrote about Charlotte's Web for a college course, actually. And I love the animated version, and I love the live action version, which I watched around 4th of July this year. HBO Max is doing a 3-part special, animated special based on Charlotte's Web. It's computer generated this time. Amy Adams, Randall Park, Gene Smart, and Rosario Dawson are all voices in it. It's set to debut this week, actually, October 2nd. So hurry on that. The Jaguar Undie Wildcat is an American wildcat that looks like a weasel. Is thriving apparently in American forests. I have not seen one or have heard anybody who has seen one, but there are pictures of them, and they're in the American wilderness. So okay, I believe you. I talked about this on my grievance show months ago, and I'm still kind of amazed by the hatred that Arby's continues to get. I love Arby's. Arby's is probably my favorite fast food restaurant. I don't understand why people hate on it so much. They've got the alternative to McDonald's and stuff like and Chick-fil-A and stuff like that. They give you beef and chicken instead, and they even have burgers now too. And they give you, like deli meat sandwiches and stuff like that. And we had last year, my absolute favorite was the fried turkey club, which was outstanding. It was so good. I had to buy it every week because it was so good. And then they brought back the chicken cordon bleu sandwich, which was another one of my favorites. I've been buying that as much as I can also because it's so freaking good. And then last week I had, I haven't had it for a while, the French dip, which has always been a good one for me also. I don't understand the hatred for Arby's. It drives me absolutely bonkers, but it's still out there. But I'm bringing this up because October 6th, Arby's is releasing, that's a couple weeks, their steak nuggets, which are like chicken nuggets, but steak instead. And I think they look pretty decent. I'd like to try them. I think they'll be pretty cool, and they should taste pretty interesting. So I'm definitely going to probably try them when they drop October 6th. So we'll see. But I don't understand it. Earlier this week, there was an announcement that Keanu Reeves had married his girlfriend. And we found out that from the girlfriend, actually, we found out, yeah, that wasn't true. We are not married, but we are still together. But what boggles my mind is the fact that people are going absolutely batshit crazy over his girlfriend. Keanu Reeves is like 62 years old. Yes, he's that old. He's 62 some years old. His girlfriend is an older woman with grayish white hair who is like an author, writer, or something like that, or a journalist or something like that. So she's not famous, though she does have her own Wikipedia page. So she might have been, she's famous in other aspects of her life, but she looks like a normal woman. She's not a Hollywood, big-breasted, Botox, blonde hair, brown hair, beauty. She is a beautiful older lady with gray silver hair. My wife has gray hair, and she's beautiful. And this woman, and it doesn't matter, everyone expects Keanu Reeves because he looks so young. He should be dating like the Sydney Sweeneys or the Sandra Bullocks and stuff like that. And it's like, no, he found this woman who he absolutely loves and adores. They decided not to get married, even though, people are saying they were married. And people are complaining about, why is he dating her? Why isn't he dating like other people because he loves her. And also, you want to hear a fact, as I said, he's 62 years old. Guess how old she is? You might look at her and say, yeah, she's probably around the same age as him. No, she's actually my age. She's literally was born in 1973. She's older than me by about 3 months. And yeah, she had early onset gray hair. My wife did too. She's had gray hair pretty much the whole time I've known her. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the way it is. That's genetics. And yes, she's not a gorgeous supermodel, superstar actress. She's a normal looking woman. And Keanu Reeves is your normal guy. He might be a big star and everybody loves him, stuff like that, but he's also a normal person. This makes absolute perfect sense for him to be with someone like her. And he's even robbing the cradle. So if you're worried about why isn't he dating someone younger? I mean, what, you wanted him to date like 30-year-olds? That's just crazy. It's a 30-year-old difference. Yes, we know Michael Douglas and all these other older actors, Mick Jagger, so like that, they date these young ingenue types. Keanu Reeves stayed within the same decade at least, and he's still robbing the cradle. It's a 10-year age difference. But it doesn't matter because they love each other and it's none of your goddamn business. So why don't you just move along and let them be happy, for God's sakes? So to reiterate, before I got into my little spiel, they did not get married, even though people said they did. This is from the girlfriend herself. Yeah, we're not married. We're also fine. They're saying we're together. We're happy. We just don't want to get married, I guess, at this moment. Apple TV Plus, so far, he seems like can do no wrong. It seems like they're getting all these great shows and releasing these great movies and documentaries and stuff like that. First chink in the armor has made its appearance. They are delaying the release of Jessica Chastain's show, The Savant. I don't really know why, because the show is not something that's topical. So I don't know why they're delaying it. Jessica Chastain is kind of pissed about it because she enjoyed making the movie, and the TV show, and wants the people to see it. And yet Apple TV is like saying, yeah, we're not going to release it just yet. And it's like, well, why? There is no reason, and they're not answering either. So I don't know. Talking about Beekeeper 2, Yara Shahida has joined the cast, I guess, as the female lead in that. Ninjago is coming to Lego Fortnite. A newly discovered comet named Comet Swan, hey Pep, could start to be seen with a visible eye in October. So you might be able to start seeing a comet in the skies here coming in October. Gotcha. Good boy. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse has moved up a week. It had originally was set to come out at the end of June and is now coming up June 18th, 2027, 2 days before my 54th birthday. So you can see it a week earlier now. This is interesting for really kind of two reasons. First of all, former NFL running back, Seahawks running back Sean Alexander, who was a great running back, announced that he and his wife are expecting their Noel's home. Hi, Noel. Their 14th child. 14 children. Their 14th child. Anyone know what's crazy? It's not really crazy. It's kind of nice. It's his same wife. He and his wife have had 14 kids. Or will have 14 kids when this one is born. It was born. So he and his wife have had 14 kids. They've been together and they've had 14 kids. A lot of these NFL players that have 10 kids or 12, 13 kids, whatever, they have them with multiple wives. Sean Alexander and his wife have had 14 kids together. They are all physically related by blood, and they're all connected. They all have the same parents. That's crazy. Crazy to me, anyway. Deaths: Claudia Cardinale, an actress who starred in 8.5 Weeks, The Pink Panther, Once Upon a Time in the West, The Leopard. She's one of these old school 60s ingenue types. She passed away this week. Giovanni Michael Robinson, a 32-year-old hockey player, was killed in a drive-by shooting, which is a shame. Nobody should die that way. McKenna White, a girlfriend of PGA golfer Jake Knapp, died at the age of 28. They didn't say how or why she died. That's another horrible thing to happen. Anniversaries. We are undergoing the 8th birthday event in Fortnite right now because 8 years ago this week, Fortnite debuted. The Wild Robot, which is a fantastic movie, animated film, debuted 1 year ago this week. Talk about that in a second. The Equalizer debuted, Denzel Washington Equalizer debuted 11 years ago this week. Monster REM follow-up to Automatic for the People debuted 31 years ago this week. Jeepers Creepers 3 debuted 8 years ago this week. Now I got two. I'm going to go back to Monster real quick, and then I'll talk about one more anniversary thing. I'm going to talk about the two. Monster was, REM had quite the decade in the 1990s. Out of Time became the best-selling album in their history and was the best-selling album of the year. It won Grammys. It got a whole lot of new fans. They were on par with being one of the hottest bands in the world. Then they released, in my opinion, their best album ever, An Automatic for the People, literally like a year or so after Out of Time. And that continued their popularity. It was a huge, successful album, and it's damn good also. And then they took a couple years, and then they released Monster 31 years ago this week, which is not as good. They had been experimenting with, mandolins and not quite electronic sort of stuff in the last two albums. So they decided to go full bore rock out album with Monster. And I think I like half the album. The rest of the other half of the album is terrible, in my opinion. Bang and Blame's a great song. Something with eyeliner. I forget something with eyeliners. I forget that the first part of it is great. What's Roosy Cats? It's okay. Was the opening one. And there's like one other song I really, really liked on Monster, and the rest of them were just they're lousy. I don't like it. But Monster, and it was successful again because, again, they were still at the height of their power, and this started their massive 2-year-long tour, which really tore the band apart and actually physically hurt them a lot as well, and became one of the hardest tours ever due to injuries and issues and stuff like that. But what it did do also was, while they were doing the tour, the Monster tour, they did do the songs for New Adventures in Hi-Fi, which is another great 90s REM album, which is the last REM album with all 4 original cast members. The touring took a toll on, I think his name was Bill Berry, I believe, was the one that left. And he was their drummer. And he had enough after they did New Adventures in Hi-Fi, and after the Monster tour was over and done with. So he said, I'm leaving. I'm done. You guys can continue on. I don't care. You do whatever you want. So the remaining members decided to think about what they wanted to do. And they decided that they were going to keep going on as a trio. And they continued on until about 2010, 2011, and then they called it a career. They released about 3 more albums after New Adventures in Hi-Fi. So, and then they did the score for Man on the Moon, the Andy Kaufman biopic with Jim Carrey. But yeah, Monster's not one of my favorites, but it is the key. So for the most part, it's the ending of REM for the most part. And finally, the Rocky Horror Picture Show debuted 50 years ago this week. My biggest takeaway from that was I dressed up as Dr. Frankenfurter for our Halloween work costume contest about 2 years ago, and I should have won. I felt I was the best costume, but I offended a number of people, and they refused to vote for me, and I lost by like 3 votes. And those 3 votes were people who were offended by my outfit I was wearing because they are GOP racist sort of people. But we're not going to get into that. So that's it. So 50 years ago, the Rocky Horror Picture Show debuted. I have 3 full pages left. All right. So we're moving right along here. Kpop Demon Hunters ended its 91-day run, which, don't freak out, Netflix does a thing where they just track the views for 91 days on all their TV movies and shows and stuff like that to get a gauge of, over a period of 91 days, how the ratings are and the views, and if it's something that they want to keep up with. I think it's one of the ways they figure out how to determine what to cancel, or what movies not to buy, or what movies to make, or what shows to continue with. In the case of Kpop Demon Hunters, it ended its 91-day run window with 325.1 million views, which is one of the highest rated in Netflix history. So there you go. Snickerdoodle Kisses and Peppermint Stick Kit Kats are your new holiday candies coming out here soon this year. And also, apparently, there is a I just named the name of it. The little chocolate balls I talked about earlier supposedly has like a sugar cookie one where there's sugar cookies inside with the liquid chocolate. So that should be interesting. An aggressive squirrel has been attacking people for food and has sent 2 people to the ER after he's attacked them in California. Surfs up a kind of a old school, not old school, but it was an animated film that was going up against that one tap dancing penguin movie that everybody loved. So they did Surf's Up, which is about another branch of penguins, is getting a TV series now. I didn't think the movie did well enough to warrant that, but hey, why not? Coffee Mate has new tiny creamers, which they're okay, but they only last for 2 weeks or whatever. But they have new flavors: red velvet cake, snickerdoodle, and mocha almond fudge. Those will be coming out here soon. Also, I think Starbucks has a couple of new ones, including birthday pop flavor creamers and something else also. William Shatner was rushed to the hospital, but he's fine. He had a medical emergency, but he's gone on to social media, says, "I'm not dead, don't worry." But he is hospitalized. Forza Horizon 6, I guess, is a driving video game, I think, is set for Japan. So the race course is going to take place in Japan, and that game is coming out in 2026. New trailer for Avatar 3. Don't care. A 6.3 earthquake hit Venezuela this week. Here's your second Millie Bobby Brown story. Millie Bobby Brown is set to portray Carrie Strug in a Gia Coppola's Perfect biopic on Carrie Strug. I'm assuming she will film it after she does the rom-com she's filming right now. Italy has edible cups made from pasta and lemon zest. So you can drink your drinks in these pasta and lemon zest cups. And then once you're done drinking your drink, you can just eat the cup, and it's totally biodegradable, and you can eat it and digest it. The Fourth Wing is a fantasy series, is finally getting an adaptation, which is going to be headed up by a Wednesday producer for Amazon. September 8th, 2026, the Halloween video game we talked about a couple weeks ago will be arriving in stores. They just announced it a couple weeks ago. It's going to take about a year to get all set up and made perfectly. A lonely lion who was abandoned by his pride has found a new family with feral cat family. So that's pretty cool. Kate Beckinsale is next film is a Taken style sort of action film. I love me some Kate Beckinsale, but she really hasn't really done much with her career, to be honest. The reboot to Cliffhanger, which I've heard a little bit about it, but I don't know who stars in it. And they have a really cool, I guess it was a poster or just a shot from the film. It looks like it's going to be female focused. Cliffhanger instead of Sylvester Stallone. It has finally gotten U.S. distribution, so it will be distributed into the United States. Don't know when yet. No date has been set, so I don't know if the movie is set, if they're going to release it this year, if they're going to wait till next year. I would assume it'd probably be better to wait for it to release it next year. That way you can get trailers done and you can build up, your advertising for it and all that stuff. So, and they're also already talking a sequel about it. So they're really expecting it to do really, really well. So we'll see. Girl group with Rebel Wilson and Randall Park is filming now. Don't know much about it, but it's probably some sort of singing thing. Robert Pattinson is up for director Hideo Kojima's next film, Physint, Physint. So that's interesting. Rat, I think I remember Rat is sort of like the unofficial sequel to Cujo, but Rat is a Stephen King novella, is, as all of his stuff is getting a movie adaptation from producer Jay Van Hoy, who was the producer for The Witch and The Lighthouse. David Johnson and Cooper Hoffman are set to reteam for The Chaperones from A24. I think those were the two who were in the Stephen King Long Walk adaptation, and they worked well together. So I think they're reteaming for, it's a romantic comedy thing, not between them, obviously, but there you go. Wicked for Good's final trailer debuted this week. So it's the final trailer right before its release next month, or rather, in November, I should say. Oh, the automatic balls and strikes robot umpire system will be coming to Major League Baseball next year. We'll see how that works out. Don't know how it's going to work out, but they've been talking about it, and here it is. Peter Jason, who is a character actor on John Carpenter movies, passed away this week. Ron Friedman, a writer for G.I. Joe and Transformers cartoons, died at the age of 93 this week. Anniversaries: The Last of the Mohicans, a great Michael Mann adaptation with Daniel Day-Lewis, debuted 33 years ago this week. The TV show Heroes debuted 19 years ago this week. The first season is brilliant. The second season destroyed the show. The Jetsons debuted 63 years ago this week. The Munsters debuted 61 years ago this week. MASH debuted 53 years ago this week. Boy Meets World debuted 32 years ago this week. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. debuted 12 years ago this week. And Shaun of the Dead debuted 21 years ago this week. I had not seen that movie till the week of 4th of July when I took off and watched movies. It's actually a really funny, really good movie. So I'm very surprised at myself for waiting so long to watch it. But I have watched it and I enjoyed it. All righty. 1.3 million homes watched Superman's premiere on HBO Max. So that's a big deal. So that did pretty good. Blink of an eye, Christopher Landon reteams with his Drop co-writers for his next Netflix film. Drop was kind of a low-budget horror film, which actually it's more a thriller sort of film, but they're reteaming together for that. Here we go. Proof that Timothée Chalamet has finally made it. And well-deserved. He's got an Oscar nomination, I think, every year he's been an actor almost, I think. So Timothée Chalamet is finally getting his big paycheck. He's getting $25 million for James Mangold's new action heist film called High Side. So Welcome to the $25 million club there, Timothy. Toaster Strudel has a whole bunch of new releases. I've never been a big fan of Toaster Strudel. They were good, but when you heated them up, it was either cold and it didn't quite taste right. They were trying to replace Pop-Tarts and it didn't quite work. But it still has enough, life in it that they've released a whole bunch of new ones. Cinnamon Toast Crunch flavor, a Hershey chocolate flavor, peanut butter and jelly flavored one, a Trix flavored one, a Boston cream pie flavored one, a churro flavored one, a Mean Girls flavored one, the pink icing and stuff like that, and pumpkin pie flavored one have all come out. Tiger Kills an Oklahoma trainer attached to Tiger King Joe Exotic, which was someone who came to fame during COVID and has slowly disappeared after that. Oh, a teacher was arrested for filling classrooms in his school with poop spray that smells like poop. He sprayed it all around the school for weeks and nobody knew what it was. It was causing headaches and eye issues and all kinds of crazy stuff. And he finally was busted and caught. So it's just kind of weird. And he didn't say why he did it. He just did it for shits and giggles. Baywatch reboot is set to debut 2026-2027 window. So we're probably looking fall 2026 probably. So that'll be rolling through there too. Kenan Thompson is set to produce a biopic about Macho Man Randy Savage called Macho. Andrew Lincoln has teased that his Rick Grimes is going to return to one of the Walking Dead franchises. Not saying which one, but could return to one of those. We got a new Welcome to Derry trailer. It looks surprisingly good. Again, HBO Max, I don't have it, so I'm not going to be able to see it. It's set to debut October 26th, which is perfect. 5 days before Halloween. That's like the perfect time to debut it. Marvin Jones III is set to be cast as Tombstone in Brand New Day. Tombstone in the comics is like an albino black gangster type who's got like metallic skin almost. And Marvin Jones III looks like he is an albino, a black guy as well. So they cast a pretty good, decent actor for that. The Bride trailer. This one's a weird film. Set debut March 6th. For those who don't know, The Bride, Maggie Gyllenhaal is directing it. She's not starring in it, though. She's directing it. Jesse Bradford, I think, is the actress who's playing the Bride of Frankenstein. Christian Bale. That better be Pepper. Christian Bale is playing Frankenstein. They show the trailer and they show the rest of the cast members, but I think Jake Gyllenhaal's in it. Obviously, he's in there for his sister. But he's been cast in it as well. But it looks like kind of a modern sort of, not pooping down here, are you, Pep? Sort of a modern sort of take on Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein, because Christian Bale's Frankenstein has guns and is wearing fedoras and is being chased by police officers and police cars. And the bride is not some, Eastern European woman. She's just like a regular woman who like dresses sexy and stuff like that and fell down the stairs and broke her neck, and they brought her back to life. And it's a weird looking film. Really, really weird looking film. I really hope that was Pepper. Snowing in Colorado, not really a big deal anymore, but the snow is coming there. A 50-meter sinkhole collapsed in Bangkok. Alien Earth gets a second season after the season finale debuted this week. Missing boy, 3 years old, says he was protected by a kind bear. That's good to know. Super Typhoon Ragasa hit Thailand. It was a massive storm with 180-mile-per-hour winds at one point. So we're getting all kinds of these massive storms. I wonder why. Beavers in the Czech Republic built a dam in 2 days that local authorities have planned for 7 years. Beavers can do it. Why not? Why not give them the right to do it? Death, Sticky Bird, an umpire passed away this week. Rudy Johnson, a former Bengals running back who I remember from playing against the Ravens, he committed suicide. He's the age of 45. Again, sort of the CTE sort of thing probably hitting there. There's been a lot of suicides from former NFL players, and it's a shame that that's affecting people the way it is. Anniversaries. Friends debuted 31 years ago this week. Also that week, 31 years ago, The Shawshank Redemption debuted. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid debuted 56 years ago this week. Seven debuted 30 years ago this week. The Corpse Bride debuted 20 years ago this week. The Big Bang Theory debuted 18 years ago this week. 8 Simple Rules debuted 23 years ago this week. Nintendo was created 136 years ago this week. It was originally a card company that made cards with pretty pictures on it, and it's moved on to become what it is now, but 136 years old. Yep. Dazed and Confused debuted 32 years ago this week. Now, 8 Simple Rules was a interesting TV show. Had a great cast, and John Ritter and Katie Seagal and Kaylee Kuko in an early role. And I would like to believe that if John Ritter had lived, that show would be considered one of the best sitcoms. It has a great cast, and it would have been interesting to see what would have happened with that. There might not have been any Big Bang Theory with Katie Kuko. Cool, you know what I meant. Oh yeah, and I saw One Tree Hill also debuted 22 years ago this week. Kaylee Kuko, that's what it is. Not Katie, Kaylee. All right, we're on our final page here of this week's sort of blasé episode. Norway provides artificial platforms to help seals and their children survive with the lack of ice islands that are up in the north due to climate change. Stanley Tucci and Meryl Streep were spotted in Milan during Fashion Week. They looked dressed in their character roles for The Devil Wears Prada 2, but there appeared to be no cameras filming them. So we don't know if it was just them being in character, because Meryl was in her Devil Wears Prada getup and her white hair teased up like it always was, and Stanley was in his usual suit and glasses and sort of 5 o'clock shadow that he was in the other Devil Wears Prada. So it's hard to say if it's part of the movie. We'll find out when the movie comes out next year, which I will definitely be seeing in the movie theater because I like the first one and I love the cast also. So we'll see, but it was just kind of odd. There was no cameras filming them, but yet there they were, photographed on the runway, but watching from the first row of seats on the runway at the Milan Fashion Week. So it's just interesting, kind of neat to see that. So the sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, directed by David Fincher and written by Quentin Tarantino, is called The Adventures of Cliff Booth, who's played by Brad Pitt. They have another picture from the set, has Brad Pitt's Cliff Booth walking with Scott Caan's character. Now, remember, this is like 1970s. It is Pepper. Good. I'm glad that was you making that noise. It was 1970s Hollywood. And Scott Caan's father is the famous James Caan from The Godfather and Elf and Alien Nation and stuff like that. And he looks like his dad. So rumors are abounding since it takes place in the 70s and they are interacting with actual stars, stuff like that. That sequence will have Cliff Booth interacting with James Caan, played by his son, Scott Caan. So kind of interesting. Stuart Saves the Universe, the spinoff of Big Bang Theory, has started filming for HBO Max. Heat 2 is set to go start filming in 2026. A Weapons prequel is being worked on by the director, Zach Krager, I guess. He's going to do Resident Evil first, but he's working on a prequel to Weapons. 2 kid actors from the School of Rock grew up and got married. Angelo Masagli and Caitlin Hale tied the knot this week. They were one of many couples who met when they were kids and doing different shows and then reconnected and got married. Oh, the Lazarus trailer, the new TV show. I didn't really pay much attention to it. James Gunn shared a picture of the cover of The Man of Tomorrow, his Superman sequel, and it has like a scientific look at what the brain and the head with the inside of the brain and all the different aspects of it, which makes people believe that Brainiac is going to be the villain. A 4.3 earthquake hit San Francisco this week. After the Hunt, the Julia Roberts, Andrew Garfield film gets a new trailer this week. So George Miller, who's not had a real success with his Mad Max movies, even though everyone considers them to be fantastic, they just don't do very well in the movie theaters, has got a new one that he's working on called Mad Max: The Wasteland. But instead of sending it to the movie theaters, he is contemplating turning it into a streaming TV show, which might actually get him better ratings and better looks at stuff. So the next Mad Max project by George Miller may actually be a streaming show and not a movie, which actually honestly makes sense. Boots trailer, again, didn't really care. Alligator was caught in Washington, D.C. and near the wharf. Ladis is directing and producing and writing and starring and producing and directing Dumas Black Devil. With an all-French cast. It's an epic about France's first black general. So it's kind of good that they didn't cast any Americans in that. Animated feature Slime has set up its vocal cast with Willow Smith, Teyana Taylor, John Boyega, Anna Savari, John Cho, and Kid Cudi. It is a dystopian animated film. Tom Holland suffered a concussion during the filming of Brand New Day. He's was interviewed today, said he feels a whole lot better, probably get back to work by next week. December 10th, Percy Jackson Season 2 is set to debut on Disney+. Natalie Linez joins the FBI spinoff CIA. And Rob Lowe has been cast in a new TV show called The Ram as a sports talk show host who falls for his new producer who is brought in to spice up the show. Peyton Manning and Colin Cowherd are executive producers. Peyton Manning is Peyton Manning, former NFL player, and Colin Cowherd is a current sports talk show host. So they'll be executive producing the show. So Rob Lowe in a new show is always interesting. Don't know where it's going to pop up, but and as a sports talk person, it's kind of a good idea too. Before we get to the last story of the week, let's cover the deaths and anniversaries. Bernie Parent, a Hall of Fame hockey star, passed away this week. Bobby Greer, an NFL coach and executive, particularly for the New England Patriots, passed away this week. Martin Milner, Adam 12, and Route 66 actor passed away this week. Elaine Merck Binder was one of the last surviving actors from The Wizard of Oz, passed away at 94 this week. And Bob Oldis, a Major League Baseball player, passed away this week as well. I didn't get the date. It's probably the 1930s sometime, but The Hobbit was published this week. I didn't get the date, but I'm assuming it's 1930 since Bucky said he read it when it first came out, and that fits with his, fighting in World War II as a 21-year-old. So that would fit around that time. Andor debuted 3 years ago this week. Space Cowboys, which is a kind of an underrated film with a great cast, directed by Clint Eastwood. It's got Tommy Lee Jones and, oh God, I saw a picture, Donald Sutherland and one other old-time actor who played former astronauts who had to go into space again. So that's an interesting movie. Lost debuted 21 years ago this week. I love the movie and I love the TV show, and I love the last season despite everybody hating on it. And I thought they did a good job wrapping it up. The Hawaii Five-0 reboot with the aforementioned Scott Conn debuted 15 years ago this week. My wife and I started watching that when we were younger. And End of Watch debuted 13 years ago this week as well. I think I talked about that one last week as well. So our last story this week is not all that exciting, but it's kind of interesting. I didn't know this. In 1975, a woman bought the rights to Daredevil and Black Widow, who at that time had their own comic book. The two of them had teamed up together. And this woman, I think, was an actress, and she wanted to develop it into a TV show in 1975. So she cast some guy as Daredevil, and I think she cast herself as Black Widow. And then they took a bunch of promotional pictures to try to sell the show. It didn't sell because at the time it wasn't comic books were not a big popular item at that time. And Daredevil and Black Widow definitely were not well-known heroes at the time. And when they just posted the picture this week, and I never knew this was a thing. They posted a picture this week. I looked at it, and it would have been a fantastic show because they did comic accurate outfits. And Black Widow looks like the Black Widow from 75, with the long red hair that goes down, and she had the black leather suit on and the Widow shocker thing, And the Daredevil looked a little goofy, but he had the horns and he had that over his eyes and stuff like that. So he looked a little goofy, looked a little satanic, to be honest. It probably also didn't play very well either, but it was what Daredevil looked like. I mean, the horns were a little big, but other than that, it was still pretty decent look at that. I'm kind of surprised, and not surprised, but kind of depressed that it never got made. So, oh well. That's it for this week. Next week is my wedding anniversary on Saturday the 4th, so I don't know if I'll be doing the show. Probably will, because we're just going to go out to dinner. We're not doing anything special. My wife is taking my daughter to Philadelphia on the 3rd for a concert. My son is going camping again. And then Monday is the 25th anniversary of my wife and I's first date. So we've been together for 25 years and then been married for going to be 22 years, October 4th. So we are getting into October. I should be getting Flow tomorrow. I was originally scheduled when I ordered Flow. It was going to come September 30th, October 1st, and then it wasn't moving. And so I checked on Amazon. I could get it tomorrow with the same exact one for a little bit more expensive. So I canceled the one and I ordered the one. I'm going to get it tomorrow. I got Superman early on also. The 4K one was out of stock. It's probably in stock now. I'm probably kicking myself that I should have bought that instead, but I did buy the Blu-ray. So Superman 4K. Yeah, well, there it is. It has it October 3rd through 5th, so it wasn't anything that was going to be coming out anytime soon. So I just got the Blu-ray, which is fine. That is it, I think. So that's all I got going on this week. So October is going to hit, and as I said, we're finally going to get into actual fall weather finally once we get through this bullshit. Right now it's 66 degrees. With very minimal rain. There's no rain now scheduled for tomorrow. It's supposed to be, but there isn't any more. 75 today, 80 degrees tomorrow, 78 Monday, 74 Tuesday, 70 Wednesday, 65 Thursday, 66 Friday, 71 Saturday, 72 Sunday, 74 Monday. So it's got some lows in the 40s and 50s coming up. That is absolutely pristine. As long as it dries out and we don't have any more humidity, I will be extraordinarily happy. But that next couple of days is going to be absolutely shitty weather-wise. All right, I finished the show before. Yes, looks like Isaiah Likely is going to be playing tomorrow. We could really use him. So there we go. Spotted at Safeway, Demogorgon Crunch, based on Captain Crunch. So there's something new for you also for the show. So there we go. So, yeah, that's about it. All right. Hopefully I'll have a better week. We'll see. All right. We'll see you next week for the show. Time to end the show now. We'll let it go down a few more seconds. Okay. Bye.